Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Just so you guys know, this information session is going to be recorded. So if you have not already, just make sure you're on mute and just go ahead and turn off your videos so then you're not popping up in the background during the recording. At the end of the information session tonight, you will have time to go ahead and or ask any questions that you have. You can either use our chat feature or you can go ahead and unmute yourself again towards the end to ask any questions. But during the bulk of the presentation, if you can just go ahead and stay muted, we greatly appreciate it. My name is Karen Padine. I am the program manager for the Masters of Accountancy program, and I will be jumping in towards the end of the presentation to give you an overview of the application process. But in the beginning right now, I'm going to pass it on over to Dr. Rod Smith, and he will go ahead and go over the MSA curriculum and the program specifics itself.
Okay, welcome to our information session. Hope to answer your questions, but if I don't, we'll have time at the end to cover anything else you would like covered. So, one important thing that you should look for whenever you're looking for a master's in accountancy is who accredits them. In our case, we're accredited by the AACSB. So it is an association for the advancement of collegiate schools of business. It is the premier accreditation agency in the world. And there's about 16,000 business schools in the world, and there's about 650 that are accredited by the AACSB, and we are accredited. They come through every 5 years. They look at us. They look at whether or not we're serving the needs of the students, whether we're conducting business in an appropriate way, et cetera. So it's an important factor. So regardless of the school you choose, you should get one that's AACSB accredited. So we're also listed in a bunch of other publications, the Money Magazine Best Colleges, Forbes Best Value. We're in U.S. News and World Report. So we are doing pretty well. Basically, our program is designed for students with an accountancy degree, undergraduate degree, about to graduate anyway, or have graduated in the past, that need extra hours to meet the requirement for the CPA license. So if you zoom through Cal State Long Beach or another university, you probably have 120 semester hours. And our program is designed to give you the additional 30 hours. But beyond that, it's designed to meet the requirements stipulated by the state of California in their licensing process. So we have the right amount of ethics, we have the right mix of classes to meet their requirements. Okay, this is an important part, and one of the reasons people go into accountancy is it pays pretty well. It's a profession. It has a lot of the perks of a profession. The IMA, by the way, is the Institute of Management Accountants, and every year they conduct a salary survey of accountants in conjunction with Robert Half, the Human Resources Agency, and they determine what's the average accounting salary in the world, what's the average accounting salary in the US, and what determines that. And they found that in 2019 anyway, and I think those averages are probably continue, that in 2019, the accountants with advanced degrees, like an MS in accountancy or an MBA, earned on average $16,000 more than accountants without advanced degrees. Additionally, accountants with either the CPA or CMA certifications also earned basically from $11,000 to $16,000 higher salaries. And those were separate. So if you had an advanced degree and the CPA, then on average over your lifetime, you would earn $30,000 more per year than somebody without a certification or an advanced degree. That salary survey said that the average CPA salary ranges from $66,000 for first-year CPAs. This is United States overall, and that's from 2017, excuse me, from the AICPA. It's higher in California because the cost of living is higher. But on average, established CPAs were making $152,000 a year, according to the AICPA in 2017, and that includes CPAs, sole proprietors, it includes CPAs in big four firms, et cetera. So you have to look carefully at what determines that average, but that's a pretty good number. So Robert Half has consistently said that accounting jobs are hot. The credentials in demand, of course, the CPA credential. CGMA stands for Chartered Global Management Accountants. It's a certification provided by the American Institute of CPAs in conjunction with the Chartered Accountants in Great Britain. CMA stands for Certified Management Accountant. It's CGMA and CMA are kind of competing designations. CMA exam is conducted by the Institute of Management Accountants, and the CMA credentials are then maintained by that institute. CIA stands for Certified Internal Auditors. That is a credential in significant demand now. And CISA is Certified Information Systems Auditors. And again, information systems, cybersecurity, all of those topics are very important to accounting careers now. Something that might come up immediately is that, and this, I teach accounting information systems, so I would say that this chart is cheating a little bit since it doesn't go all the way to 0. It makes it look like the blue line is much bigger than the orange, but it is a little bit bigger. And the important thing there is that accountants with a graduate degree pass the CPA exam at a higher rate than accountants with just a bachelor's degree. That extra year pays off. So first-time passes for students with bachelor's degrees only are a little less than 50%, and for students with graduate degrees, it's closer to 60%. So you get a little bonus there. Studying does pay off. And I'll come back to the CPA exam and studying for that in just a little bit. Okay, our program is 30 hours. Each course is typically a 4-unit course. So in the fall semester, for those of you interested in coming in the fall, would be 3 courses, 12 credit units. Then you would take 3 courses, 12 credit units in the spring, and you'd finish up with 6 units in the summer, 1 capstone course that talks about ethics and professional responsibilities, and a shorter course, a 2 credit unit course that includes forensic accounting. If those of you that might be interested in coming in next spring, a year from now, it's the same schedule, it's just offset a little bit. Students take 3 courses in the spring, the 2 courses in the first summer session. They get a little break between July 4th and the end of August. And then they finish up in fall and they graduate in December. So in both cases, you come in, if you come in the fall, you come in at the end of August and you get out by July 4th. And if you come in the spring, you start at the end of January and you graduate in December. So it's about 11 months. We think we're very convenient. We specifically have designed the program for working professionals. So we assume that you're working during the day. Okay, so you have limited time to study, and we recognize that. All of our classes are scheduled evenings or Saturdays. So this semester, for example, students are taking classes on Wednesday night, Thursday night, and Saturday. The Saturday classes are typically the tax courses because we have a lecturer that's a partner in a CPA firm that teaches one tax class, and then we have a senior manager from the IRS next semester that teaches the other tax classes. And they, of course, work during the week and are only available on Saturdays. But okay, this next one doesn't make any difference now. We're in easy commuting distance from LA and Orange County, but gosh, we hope that there'll be a chance where people actually do commute in the future and come to class. But when we get back to a regular schedule, we're going to try and learn from we're going to try and implement some of the things we learn from teaching online. So we may have part of the classes still hybrid to save you on some commuting time where possible, and then the rest of the classes will be back face-to-face. Okay, all of our applications and other documents are submitted online. Certainly, this is the 21st century, so we do everything electronically. So before Karen talks about the application process, I want to throw in one thing. I said I would come back to the CPA, that we provide a CPA review course for all of our students. And it is currently designed so that we incorporate some of the CPA questions from that course into classes. But most importantly, you can study it on your own and you have access to that course until you pass the CPA exam. Okay, so Karen, it's yours.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Rob, and we'll go ahead and start the second half of the presentation, which is going to be pretty much the application process. So to start off, let's go over some general application requirements. First, you are going to need a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited university, and I'm sure this is probably a lot of your guys' questions. This is like the #1 email I get all the time. Is the GRE, the GMAT exam offered or required still? So in the past, COVID and everything, students would be required to sit for one of these exams. But due to COVID and the pandemic, we have decided to waive it. So it is not required. So I'm sure that answered a lot of your guys' questions. You are also required to submit an updated resume, a video statement of purpose, a short response written statement, which is pretty much like a long word for a short essay, and then 2 letters of recommendation are required. The entire application process is going to be done online via our CSULB system. The application, right now we are processing online applications for the fall. So the application window opened up on October 1st, 2020. The deadline to submit applications for domestic students is going to be June 1st. The deadline for international students will be April 1st. Like Rod said, if you don't feel like you're going to be able to submit your application in time for the fall deadline, we will be accepting applications for the spring. That will open up on August 1st, 2021, and that's to start classes in January 2021. The actual application itself has 4 different sections, or 4 different quadrants, I guess you can say. The next couple of slides, I'm going to go ahead and make sure to go over each one of those sections so you know what you need to fill out, what you don't have to fill out, because we don't want you guys wasting your time. So I don't want you guys filling out sections that we're not going to even review. So I'll make sure in the next couple of slides to pinpoint or point out what you don't have to do. When it comes to official transcripts and test scores, one thing I want you guys all to note is that once you fill out your CSULB application and you submit it, our enrollment services team will work with you to receive the official transcripts and test scores. So you don't have to upload any official transcripts or test scores to the actual online application. So for example, your official transcripts, you will contact your universities for official test scores, not the GMAT or the GRE, but for our international applicants who have to take like the TOEFL or any other English language requirements, you will go ahead and work with those locations, and then you will submit your scores to enrollment services. So again, don't upload anything to the actual physical online application. I get a lot of emails in regards to that too. So first off, Video statement of purpose. So this is required. You will have to submit a video recording of yourself. This video recording will be anywhere between 3.5 to 5 minutes long, and you can either use YouTube or Dropbox to record yourself. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that link that you did of the recording, and you are going to upload that link to the Cal State Apply application. This video will be anywhere between 3.5 to 5 minutes long. I recommend it not being any longer than 5 minutes. And what you're going to do in that recording is you're going to answer the question that is on this presentation. This question is also going to be noted on the Cal State Apply application. And I'm also going to send you a recording of tonight's information session and a copy of this PowerPoint, so you can always refer back to it and like get a head start on your video recording. Next is going to be short answer written personal statement. Like I said before, that's just like a long title for like a short essay. So within the online application, it's going to be a 1,500 character limit. So not word limit, but character limit. And what you're going to do is you're going to answer this question. Describe a time when you dealt with someone who was difficult. How did you handle that situation? What would you do differently if you can do it all over again? So again, 1,500 character limit. With that limit, it could probably be anywhere between like 1 to 2 paragraphs. Definitely no longer than 2 paragraphs. You'll probably get like an error message saying you went over the character limit. So 1 to 2 paragraphs, answer this question, and then you'll be good to go. Next, letters of recommendation. Like I said before, 2 letters are required. I get asked all the time who should write my letters. My suggestion to you is that that person should either have a professional or academic relationship with them. So what I mean by that is professional, either your current or previous employer, like a manager or supervisor. When it comes to academic, maybe a current or previous faculty. We don't have like a template or anything that we can provide you that you can give to your recommender. So what I recommend you do is that refer back to this presentation, and you can literally like copy and paste these bullet points, send it to your recommender, and let them know like, hey, this is what should be inside the letter that you write on behalf of me. And I'll explain those bullet points. So first off, a short summary or history should be provided by your recommender explaining what is their relationship with you. So either were they your professor, were they your manager, supervisor? Next, they could go ahead and provide us a list or like a statement of characteristics they believe that you have that will help you excel in the actual graduate program. Next, they could go ahead and give us a description or like examples of like projects, tasks that you contributed to the workforce or to your classroom. And lastly, you want to ask them to close the letter with like a strong closing statement endorsing you for the program. One important thing I want you guys to note is that within our Cal State Apply system, you are going to write or type in their first name, last name, and email address. Once you input their email address into Cal State Apply, our system is going to automatically notify them. So it's not like once you submit, like you pay the fee and submit the application, it's once you put the actual email address in the system. So to avoid an awkward conversation, you want to make sure that you give your recommender a heads up, let them know like, or request if they could be your recommender, and then input their information so we can notify them. You don't want it to be the other way around where they get a notification and they're like, this person never even asked me to. So to avoid that conversation, just remember to note that, ask them first, then input their email address into the system. Once they get that email address from us, it will have a link, and all they have to do is type out their letter, upload the letter to the link, and it'll go directly back to our application. So it makes it really like streamlined for everybody involved. Next, in the past, we probably would have discussed test waiver requirements if you wanted to apply for a test waiver. But again, for the fall 2021 term, the GMAT and the GRE will be waived. I'm not sure this will be the case for spring. The spring 2022 term, but for at least now for the fall 2021, GMAT and GRE, you do not have to sit for it. Now I'm going to show you like what the actual CalC Applied system looks like. So once you go to the website, this is what the home screen is going to look like. You're going to go ahead and select what term you are going to be applying for. So either fall 2021, or you'll go ahead and put spring 2022. Yes, spring 2022. So then you'll go ahead and indicate that you're applying as a graduate student, just as it says here on the screen. Once you're actually in the CalC Applied system, this is what it's going to look like. Like I stated before, there's 4 different quadrants or 4 different sections. In the next couple slides, I'll walk you through each one of these sections. So first is going to be the personal information section. In this part, you're going to pretty much give us your demographic background, and then you're also going to give us your contact information, and that also includes your email address. So when it comes to your email address, you want to make sure you are stating an email address you're actually checking. You know, we all have, maybe, at least I do, have multiple email addresses where maybe a lot of like my promotion or spam stuff goes to, and then I have one that I actually check all the time. So you want to make sure you include one that you're actually checking, because if there's any issues with your online application, like for enrollment services, they will email you that email address that you indicated. And also when it comes time to sending you our admissions decision, we're going to email that email address you stated as well. So just a heads up with that. The second quadrant, or the second section, is going to be academic history. So first you want to go ahead and list all the colleges you attended. So of course the school that you attended for your bachelor's degree. If you went to any community colleges, you want to go ahead and note that there as well. If you're currently done like any other, well, not for this population, I was going to say master's program. So community colleges or the bachelor's, obviously the school you went to your bachelor's, you're going to note it there. When it comes to transcript entry, if you are in your last semester, so you're graduating this semester or this summer, you want to go ahead and indicate what courses you are enrolled in this semester. You don't need to sit there and list like every single course you took throughout your entire bachelor's degree history, just the current semester you're enrolled in. If you already graduated and you're returning back to school, let's say you took a semester off, you do not have to put anything into the transcript entry section. There will be a box that you could check off and state like, I'm not submitting anything, or I'm not uploading any transcripts. So again, if you're in your last semester, just type in the courses that you're currently taking. If you already graduated, leave it empty. For GPA entries, I get a lot of emails in regards to this too, where students are worried or concerned because they don't know how to calculate their GPA, and they're unsure if the GPA that they input here is going to be accurate. In regards to that, do not worry about it. Just go ahead and give us your best guess. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, once your application is submitted, Enrollment Services is going to contact you to get your transcript. If you're a current Cal State Long Beach student, you don't have to worry about submitting your transcript. Enrollment Services will already have it. But they will go ahead and evaluate your transcript and determine your accurate GPA, and then they're going to give us that GPA. So again, just give us your best guess here, and then just move on to the next section. For standardized test, again, no GMAT or GRE, so you can either leave this section completely blank, or you can go ahead and check off that you received a GMAT waiver. Regardless, it doesn't matter. We know what we're looking for, so either blank or check off that you received the waiver. If you are going to, like an international student, and you're required to sit for the TOEFL or anything like that, you would put your unofficial score here. If you haven't taken the test yet, just go ahead and put whatever score, honestly. Again, do your best guess, maybe the score that you're really hoping you're going to get, because at the end of the day, Enrollment Services is going to go in and update it, and we don't want you holding off submitting your application because you're waiting to take your test like in the next month. So just go ahead and submit it, and Enrollment Services will go ahead and update it. The third section that you are going to complete is supporting information. So within this section, you're literally going to skip everything here. So experiences, achievements, documents, just leave it blank. don't even worry about it. For statement of purpose, this is not the same statement of purpose I was referring to earlier in previous slides. Within this section, within that text box, as you can see on the screen, you need to type something in this text box in order to move on to the last fourth section. You can't leave this text box empty. If not, you're going to receive like an error message and you can't move on to the next section. So as you see here on the screen, I gave you an example. You can literally type in the text box. I will submit my video statement of purpose directly to the department, or you can type in, I'm not going to be submitting anything. You honestly could just like type your first name, last name, just type in something into that text box and just save continue. And when you do that, then you'll move on to the last and final quadrant, which is the program materials. So the fourth one is the most important quadrant. This is going to be like the meat of your application. This is the main section that us and the program director will be referring to make the admissions decision for you. So once you click on the fourth section, this is what it's going to look like. As you can see, there's 4 different sections. I'll walk you through each one of these. The home, just going to give you some like information on what you need to submit here. On the documents section, this is where you're going to upload your updated resume. For the recommendation section, your application will either say recommendations or evaluations, but within this third section, this is where you will input your recommender's first name, last name, and email address. So both of their information will go here. And then the fourth section, which is going to be the questions, this is where you will go ahead and copy and paste that video recording link that I had referred to before. So either YouTube or Dropbox, you're going to record that, copy and paste that link and put it here. And then also when I was referring to the short essay statement, you're going to go ahead and either copy and paste what you typed out here, or you'll just type it in directly in this portion of the application. So once you're done with this section, your application is considered complete. You'll go ahead and submit your application. It will be a $70 application fee. It's a non-refundable fee. Unfortunately, we do not offer any fee waivers for the application for graduate students, so it will be $70. So now that I walked you through the entire application process, that was pretty much, there's 2 ways that you can apply as a student. You have the traditional way, which I just walked you through all the steps, but then there's also a second way, and this opportunity is only offered to our current Cal State Long Beach undergraduate accountancy students. This is called the Fast Track program. Pretty much what it is, it gives you an opportunity as a Cal State Long Beach accountancy student, the opportunity to expedite your application. What I mean by that is that you won't be required to sit for the GMAT or the GRE. You won't be required to submit a video recording, and you won't be required to do 2 letters of recommendation. In order to be given the opportunity for this expedited application, there is an online application. There's a couple steps you have to do. And then there's also a 3.0 minimum GPA you have to meet. So in regards to Fast Track, if you, after this presentation, if you want more information about Fast Track, the application process, like how to get the application, and also to see if you qualify, just feel free to email me directly and I can walk you through that process. Okay, so frequently asked questions, and I know Rod did go over some of this already. So can the MSA program be completed part-time? The answer is no. At this time, it's designed to be full-time. As Rod stated, classes are scheduled in the evening during the week, so either between like 6 or 7 o'clock, and then on Saturday mornings. What is the cost of the MSA program? So again, for California residents, it is approximately around $18,000 for the program. The cost for non-California residents is approximately around $30,000 for the program. Do you provide CPA test prep? As Rod stated, yes, we do. We have material that we will provide you guys for that. And then the CPA test prep is also integrated through our MSA curriculum as well. And that's it. So hopefully you guys are all still there with us. At this time, we are going to go ahead and open it up for questions. So you can either go ahead and type up your questions in our chat feature, or you can go ahead and unmute yourself and answer or ask any questions. And then me and Rod will go ahead and take turns answering those.
Hi, I had a question. Am I okay to go ahead and ask?
Yeah, go ahead,
Yep.
Mario. Yeah, you're
Go.
good.
Okay, so I have a couple questions in regards to so my overall GPA is good. I'm a 3.45, and my accounting GPA is also good. I'm above 3.0. However, I did see that there was 4 classes that you're required to have a GPA of 3.0 with those. So if you don't have those at a 3.0, do you have to retake those classes? And if you do, can you choose which ones you have to retake?
No, I think
So
so.
because I'm looking
Basically,
at
the prerequisite classes are the
Yeah.
intermediate,
yeah,
A and B, 1 and 2,
uh-huh,
auditing and tax.
right.
Okay, so we really don't look at the GPA for those 4 courses unless you're a fast track student that that wants to expedite their process, and then we look at the overall 3.0 GPA in your major.
Ah, okay,
So
great. So then, because I graduated in August and I took a semester off, so I'm okay. I don't have to worry about that.
that's correct.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. And then I had
You you
I'm sorry.
emailed
Go
me
ahead.
directly, right, Mario?
I did. Yes,
Yeah,
I
I
did.
did see that right before this presentation. I was going to ask you too if you were a Cal State Long Beach student and say that if you wanted to be part of the fast track, it would probably affect it. But since you already graduated, like Rod said, you'll be fine.
Great. And then just a couple more questions real quick. Also so just to confirm, no transcripts needed since I graduated from Cal State Long Beach. And
Correct.
then supporting info, skip. And I know this is all going to be email all to us. Okay. And then last thing, are there employment resources on campus for graduate students?
And the answer to that is yes.
Okay.
We do a couple of things. First of all, we strongly encourage the master's students to either continue with or join Beta Alpha Psi in the Accounting Society.
Okay.
So there's also an opportunity to join Alpha, which is the Association for Latino Professionals in Finance and Accounting. So between those two, they regularly have visitors come in from employers, and they hold meet the firms events. And so you get a lot of opportunity to meet with employers and or interview with them. But
Great.
on top of that, we have a dedicated career development staff, and our career development, we actually have 1.5 positions in the University Career Development Center that are dedicated to our graduate students, and they can help you put together a resume. They can help you prepare for interviews. They can give you all kinds of tips on finding jobs, and they also locate employers that are interested in our students.
And is that open now, or would it be only when I'm back into the program?
So once you start the program,
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, those are my questions. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate
sure, I
that.
think we've got a question or two in the chat.
Yeah, sorry, I was responding back to one student directly. So Angelica, just hold in there. Let's see. Next one is I'm not sure it was covered earlier, but is there a specific format?
Okay.
Yeah, so the specific format for the resume, honestly, just like what do you say, Rod? Like a traditional like template, pretty much. Like, is there anything specific you're looking for in that resume when you were reviewing it?
No, basically your employment history, what you've been doing. For new graduates, okay, that's not going to have a lot of prior experience, but if you've been out of school for a while, we'd like to know what you've been doing, where you've been working, what your background is. Had on a question about how long are the classes. A 4-unit class is designed for, according to the university, 1 unit equals 50 minutes. So 4 units works out to about 3.5-hour class during the evening. now that we're online, we have some of the class is on your own. The technical term, I guess, would be asynchronous online. So you might be given some homework or some things to study. And so the synchronous part where you're actually in class would be somewhat less. People get burnt out on Zoom. I know personally that
Yes.
of that experience, but yeah, so if you went this semester and we were in person, you would go Wednesday night from 6 to 9:30, basically. You go Thursday night from 6 to 9:30, and then you would have the equivalent like 9 to 12:30 on Saturday. Okay, so acceptance rate, we try to accept most of the people that are qualified. So I would say maybe over the past, it's like 60 to 80%. I think the people that we don't accept are the ones that perhaps don't meet the university GPA requirement or don't have the prerequisites. So the 4 courses that are required, you don't actually have to have an accounting degree. You just have to have those 4 accounting courses completed by the time you start the program. So,
Rod, can you repeat those 4 accounting courses? Because I know one of the questions was they wanted to know what the prerequisite courses were.
exactly. Intermediate 1 and 2. So that's the fundamental financial accounting. So you do have to have the intro to financial and intro to managerial, the lower division courses. So I'm just talking about upper division when I say 4 courses. So you need intermediate 1 and 2. Okay, at schools that are on a trimester system, they might divide it into 3 trimesters, but it's a year's worth of financial accounting, usually held at the, at the junior level for undergraduates. Then you need auditing, and you need some kind of tax course, US tax course. It could be partnerships, it could be corporations, it could be personal tax, but just some familiarity with the tax code and how the US tax works. Yeah.
And then one question was in regards to your official transcripts. So I got a couple questions in here in regards to that. So when it comes to your transcripts, traditionally the university requires like official ones. So in the sealed envelope directly from the university. I do know that they were making some exceptions for some of our international students if they weren't able to get a hold of their university due to the pandemic and everything. So what I recommend is that you submit your CalState Apply, and once you submit it, you will work with our enrollment services team, and you will need to inform them like, hey, I'm not able to get a hold of my university or something like that. And they may let you, for the time being, be able to upload a copy. However, at some point, especially during your first semester, you are eventually going to have to submit an official one. So you will eventually need to get in contact with them. And then classes in the fall, correct, Rod, are going to be online?
They are going to probably be a mix. They'll be mostly online because we're still being constrained to some social distancing, which means we can't fit everybody in our typical College of Business classroom. So we will, so there'll be some mix. There may be days where you actually come to class, and there'll be other days where you're online, but that will be up to the individual instructor when you get closer to that. I saw a question on days of the week.
Yes.
Currently, the students are going Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. In the fall, I think it might be Monday, Tuesday, and Saturday. I haven't seen the final schedule yet, but we base that on when are the instructors available that we want to teach those courses. So it will only be Monday through Thursday and Saturday. Those will be the only options. No Friday nights yet. Of course, if you're online, it doesn't make much difference to me, but some people still like their Friday nights. So
yeah, I agree with that. I think professors do too.
Let me see what else.
I saw some questions in there in regards to fast track. There was 2 of you. So yes, I did see both your guys' name on the chat, and I did see your guys' name on the students who were already like primarily admitted for it. Right now I'm working with undergraduate advising to get final confirmation that all the students on the MSA fast track list are still on track to graduate this spring. So probably within this week or next week, I will be sending out a mass email to all our fast track students who were admitted already and let you know your steps in order to complete the application. Because like I said before, it is different compared to everybody else.
Yeah, all we have to do is really confirm that you're going to graduate and that you didn't flunk a course
Yes.
on your way out the
Mhm.
door. So
Confirm that you're still 3.0 and all your required GPAs. So that's what we're doing right now.
So there
Let's
was,
see.
since we take 3 classes a semester, do we go each class? So as I said, there are 4-unit classes. So 1 unit equals 50 minutes contact time. So you can figure that out. It's about 3.5 hours with a break. So that constitutes the contact time necessary to say that this is an official 4-unit class.
Mhm.
So you would have 12 units each semester, shortened by about an hour and a half. So that's about 10.5 hours where you would, if we were face to face, you could plan on about 10.5 hours in class during the week.
And then there was one question. Oh yeah, there's a lot of questions in regards to prerequisites that you had discussed, Rod. So those prerequisites can be done at community colleges. If there's like a particular one you're looking into, you can always email me directly. I've been kind of compiling a list of community colleges that Rod has already approved that he will accept the courses from. So if you have specific questions about that, you can just go ahead and email me directly.
We used to offer the prerequisites during the summer. And there was some demand for that, but we were more expensive than
Community college.
similar courses at community colleges. So we thought we'd try to save you some money. Maybe in the future, we'll have like a boot camp course that will cover all the material in a condensed form, and then we'll start reoffering it. I know schools like USC offer a really intensive boot camp for students, and they come in and get basically those prerequisites out of the way in about 6 weeks. So, but they go all day.
Wow. That is intensive.
Okay.
And then the last question, this you will probably be better to answer this, Rod, because you have more experience with our accountancy students. But do you have any success stories that you can share, like an MSA graduate?
Oh, we have a bunch of people that are currently working for Big 4 firms, and a lot of people that are working for really good mid-sized firms. So we've had a lot of good success in placing our students. Of course, like I shouldn't say placing our students. We give you the tools, we give you the opportunity, and then it's, in many cases, it's up to you. You've got to go to meet the firms. You've got to attend the Beta Alpha Psi Accounting Society presentations. You've got to network, and you've got to get out there. This is, we're giving you the opportunity. There's some responsibility on your part to take advantage of that.
And then there's a question from in regards to if you're taking the prerequisite courses right now, you still like this semester, and then the class is going to end sometime in like May or June. Still submit your CalC Apply application. Don't wait to submit it because you're waiting for your final grades to come in for those prerequisite courses. Your application will it'll meet the deadline of the June 1st for domestic students, and then April 1st if you're an international applicant. And then your application will just pretty much stay within department review until we get those final courses in. So then you will need to submit your official transcripts for those community college courses once you get those final grades in. And then once we confirm that obviously you pass them, then you'll be good to go.
Yeah, we can tell you whether you're preliminarily accepted or not, and then all we're doing is waiting for the completion of the prerequisites.
Hello, I have a question.
Sure.
Go for it.
So in the application, I was looking so it's before the prerequisites. it asked for like, please select the industry in which you are employed or were last employed. And I was looking at the drop-down menu and it was all like accounting, advertising, controller.
Mhm.
Like, what if none of those apply to you?
Is there like an option that says like none? I don't know what it says on the Cal State Apply.
I didn't see an option that said none. Like, I was trying to tie it into what I'm currently doing, but it's like, I couldn't really tie it in with any of them, to be honest.
You know,
Which section are you on Cal State Apply?
It's the one, so you know where it asks like if you completed intermediate accounting, financial accounting, and you click if you click completed or in progress, it's before that part.
Is
It's like
it
a
on,
question before it.
is this on the second quadrant or the fourth quadrant?
It's the fourth quadrant.
Mm,
you can, and I hate to say this, but if you just need to get past there, select anything.
yeah.
Select accounting. I don't look at it, and I'm the one that approves the recommendations. I look at, you know,
The
your
resume.
video statement of purpose, your short answer. I look at your transcripts. I look at your recommendations, but I look at your resume, but I don't look at the answer to that question. So
Okay, thank you.
Does that help? Okay,
Yes, that helped. Thank you.
of course.
any other questions? How long to hear back?
Mm. That's
That-
a great question. That's everyone's question right now.
So the Cal State Apply is a system-wide application process, and the
Mhm,
ones for Cal State Long Beach go first to enrollment services.
mhm,
So it sits in enrollment services until they get your transcripts and they believe everything has been completed satisfactorily, and then they forward it to us.
mhm.
Now, how fast they forward it to us depends on how many other applications they have for all of the graduate programs at the university. And lately, they have a bunch of graduate programs that have submission deadlines in January and February. So they've been trickling to us very slowly, but that will pick up. So once we get it, that we generally make a decision in a couple of weeks, as soon as all of the documents are in. So yeah, it's really easy. Karen gets it, checks it to make sure all the documents are there, gives it to me. I read through them and I say yes or no or maybe. And the maybes I might have to think about for a while, but if it's yes, you'll know within 10 days of when we get the application and it's complete. So we try not to sit on them, because otherwise then I've got to spend the entire month of June looking at applications, and I want to head that off, I guess, from a personal perspective. So
There's a question about prereq at West Los Angeles College. I do believe you said that was fine, right? That university.
Yep. And one on the guidance towards CIA or CISA. Certainly some of the material in the advanced auditing class is relevant to becoming a CIA. But if you go back to the beginning, our purpose in life is to prepare people for the CPA exam. That's not to say that we haven't had people that came in and wanted to go the managerial accounting route. Maybe they did some job interviews and they got a good prospect from government or business and they went that way. But we don't specifically include managerial accounting within the program. Maybe at some point when it gets bigger, okay, but we're probably about as big as we intend to be for the next few years. I'm not sure that completely answers your question, but if you don't have much work experience, no problem at all. Okay, we take a lot of people most of our students are right out of school. Okay, and that's fine. We certainly appreciate the people that do have work experience because they add a lot to the class and a different perspective, but it's really designed for, people that have the 120 or 125 or maybe even 130 hours. They just need those extra hours so that they can sit for the CPA. I mean, you can sit for the test before you finish the 150, but you can't be licensed, I guess is technically correct.
And then if you can answer this or elaborate more on this question, Rod, it's from Samantha. If you have a non-accounting degree, will this affect you for the program and for becoming a CPA? If so, do you have resources or a guide to help us with that?
There are some specific class requirements. Now, the California Board of Accountancy, you can go to their website and they have basically a self-evaluation form where you list all your classes and figure out which category they go in. So you have to have so many accounting hours, you have to have some accounting related hours, you have to have some business hours, and then you can have a bunch of other hours. I know that a friend of mine I convinced to come into the program about 3 years ago. She had a master's in education and no accounting courses until she took the prerequisites. But she took the prerequisites and went through the program, and we sat down and we worked out the requirements according to the state, and she met those requirements with no other accounting courses. So it's definitely possible to do if you didn't major in accounting. Kind of a long-winded answer, but I hope that answered your question.
All right, I had one quick question as well.
Okay.
I've started filling out the application last week. Got to the supporting information section of the general application. It only populated the experiences section. I didn't anything about statement of purpose or anything else. Did I do something incorrectly?
So it didn't have anything about like experiences. So you're saying it only had experiences, so it didn't have anything about like the achievements or anything like that?
Yes, it had me enter basically 2 different employment things, and I didn't get any other drop downs or options.
So sorry, I'm trying to show for this slide. So this one right here. So
Yeah.
it didn't have achievements or documents.
No, mine says supporting information 1 of 1, and there's experiences. I didn't know if I have 2 listed, maybe that's not enough, or sorry.
Yeah, it could also be that maybe the accountancy Calci Apply application may be different from like our MBA one or MS Finance one. But you're fine, honestly, because we don't even pay attention to the supporting information one. As I said before, the quadrant 4 is the one that you really want to like, that's the meat of the application. So just as long as everything's filled out in quadrant 4, you'll be fine. But for supporting information, you'll be okay.
Understood. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The Cal State Apply people update their application every once in a while based on what they see as being entered for various programs. So it's possible that they tweaked the application on their own and didn't tell us.
Of course.
But they do it regularly.
Typical.
Yeah, it's very typical. Okay, let's see. Any additional questions here? Okay, see, for letters or racks, can those who are directly in charge of you, but don't hold. So
I have a
that's fine.
question on corporate financial reporting 1 and 2. The best way for me to tell that is give me some information on what the content of the class was. So what level, was it a junior or senior level class? If you can get the syllabi, or you can get a course outline or the description from a catalog, then send it to us and I can tell you whether those qualify. Be happy to. Okay, so question on letter of recommendations.
Oh, I just answered that one.
Good.
So yeah, the question was, let's say it's somebody that you work with, but they don't like directly report to you in regards to like a manager or supervisor. I said yes. Is that fine, Rod? That it's as long as it's professional. I said professional website, professional
Yes.
relationship.
Yes, that's fine. We see a lot of letters of recommendations from coworkers or people that you worked for in the past or people that knew something about you. So as long as they have and can speak, as long as they have knowledge of your capabilities and can speak intelligently about your aptitude for the program, that's fine.
Then I also, oops, I meant to send that to everybody. 1 second. I'm also typing in the chat box for you all my direct email address. So I know some of you had questions about prerequisites. Like Rod said, if you can just send me some additional information, like the course title, course description, I can verify that for you. Or any fast track questions, you could just email me directly. So I just put it into the chat box.
Yep. You can also email me. I can't tell you about the details of the application process. I can tell you I'd be happy to talk with any of you individually about the program. Rod.Smith at CSULB or MSA at CSULB will also get it to us.
So any other questions at this point? If not, then we'll just go ahead and wrap this up. I am going to save this as a recording. So again, I will email it to you all so you can rewatch it again if you want to, or just refer to the PowerPoint. And I'll also include our application guide for those of you who haven't started the application process yet. It's like a Word document. So in case you don't want to hear our voices again, you can just refer to the Word document and it'll walk you step by step through the application.
Yep. I guess I'll finish in saying I think we have a good program. If you looked at those tuition prices and compared them to some of the other schools in this area, you'll realize that we are a real value. The program is state supported, so those tuition levels are set by the state, but they also don't really cover what it's going to cost the College of Business at Cal State Long Beach to put on that program. The rest of it is covered by the state of California in their generosity. They'll get it back from you in taxes later on. But
I'm sorry, I had one last comment, kind of question.
Sure.
If I did recall that you guys, I received an email stating that we can schedule a personal Zoom or a personal kind of time with you guys if we have questions with either you, Mr. Smith, or with Karen Pettin. Is that true? Or
that is true.
Yeah, there was like a automatic message that went out to a lot of students, Rod, that had your signature on it. So there are many students that would like to meet with you directly. I did offer to meet with me as well. So it's totally up to you. You can either meet with me or you can meet with Rod. Just go ahead and let us know.
okay, and sorry for not calling you Miss. I just don't want to. I don't know how to say your last name. Miss
Oh no,
Pettin?
you can totally say Karen. It's fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Of course.
So any last questions? Excellent. We'll say good night then. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you.